What's up, Leafs fans? So we're two games into this series with the Montreal Canadiens, and you know, it's a series where game one was a game where we have to give the Leafs a mulligan on that one. It's um, with everything that happened with John Tavares and um, how gutted his teammates were. You can tell by the execution of that first game, the way the passes weren't really going well, and they weren't stick to stick, and they weren't tape to tape, and they just seemed like the Leafs were fumbling the puck all night. They were a little off, and understandably so. Um, they didn't play that well, and even though that was the case, and the execution wasn't all that great, it took a really great save by Carey Price on Mitch Marner to keep that game a 2-1 and, for Montreal to win that game. So coming away from the first game, um, I mean that game was a schmoz. I mean it's a complete shit show that game. Even as a fan, I couldn't really concentrate on the game or really root hard for the Leafs. I was very concerned for John Tavares. It didn't look good on the ice, and you just think about his wife, his two boys, his family, his friends that were watching that game, and just to see how he was on the ice. How could you think about hockey at that point? So, despite everything that happened in that first game and Carey Price playing as good as he did, um, you know, Montreal just barely held on to win that game 2-1. And, you know, Montreal is hoping that Carey Price can steal them 4 games to win this series, but um, I don't see that being likely. The Leafs are a much better team, and what happened last night in Game Two is something I predicted was going to happen in Game One. I mean, the Leafs are going to come out and they're going to play their game plan, and they were going to be physical, and they're going to create scoring opportunities, and in my heart of hearts, I know, uh, Game Two, well, should have been the outcome of Game One, but it is what it is. Like I said, with the events that transpired, we're going to give the Leafs a mulligan on Game One, and we expected better for Game Two, and the Leafs came out focused and determined and energetic, and it's unbelievable the amount of crying Habs fans are doing online last night. Oh, the refs did this, the refs did that. What on earth are you talking about? One horrible coach's challenge, there's one penalty. Kotkaniemi smashed his stick in half on Riley's shoulder. Shea Weber cross-checks a guy without the puck. I mean, these are all penalties. These are all penalties. So stop your whining about how the refs gave anything to the Leafs last night. If anything, the Leafs didn't even have a good power play. So what were you really scared of? It's your fault. You know, it's a horrible coach's decision and a bunch of players. Sheldon Keefe said it best last night. The Montreal Canadiens said they were going to turn this into a war. And when you do that, you run the risk of crossing the line a little bit when you get too aggressive. And that's what the Montreal Canadiens did last night. They took a bunch of penalties. And the Leafs finally woke up on the power play and put two in the net. Unbelievable the amount of crying. Like, did you honestly think that the Montreal Canadiens were going to outplay the Toronto Maple Leafs? Did nobody watch the regular season where this team destroyed the Montreal Canadiens? Like, I expect Montreal fans to be a little bit more educated and a little bit smarter than the stuff that they were saying online. I know they won game one, but understand the circumstances around game one and why you won that game. It's not because you were better. It's not because your lineup is better. It's not because your defense is better. It's not because your forward core is better. The Leafs are better than even the goaltending is better on the Leafs. Look at Campbell's numbers compared to Carey Price. He's not even in the same stratosphere. So please quit your whining and moaning on social media. The refs did this, the refs did that. Uh, does does anybody watch any other? Are you only watching Montreal games in the playoffs? Are you not watching any other team? I'm watching Tampa. I'm watching Florida. I'm seeing a million. There's tons of power plays, and there's tons of goals. Vasilevsky has let in four or more goals in two out of the three games, or the yeah, two out of four games. Like, there's a lot of power plays happening because a lot of guys are going over the line and they're hitting, they're boarding guys, they're cross checking guys, they're slashing guys, and these things are going to get called. This is the rule. Slashing is a penalty, cross checking is a penalty. The guy smashed the stick in half on Riley's shoulder. What did you expect was going to happen? And Kotkaniemi, cocky, I scored one goal in 30 regular season games, and I was a healthy scratch because I suck. Hey, I scored a goal, guys. I scored a goal. I scored a goal. To the four to the undressed four at the top. He's got a big lip after the game. I can't say anything, so I'm just not gonna say anything. Bro, you smashed your stick in half on the guy's shoulder. If you don't think that's a penalty, then get out of here. Then you honestly don't know the rules of the game. Montreal fans say the most ridiculous things online. They're on social media like his momentum broke his stick on Riley's shoulder. It's just his momentum. Or is it that Riley did a side to side and then this guy said, holy crap, he's about to go past me. Let me break my stick on his shoulder. Unbelievable. You guys are, Montreal fans are educated and they're smart. The kind of stuff that they're saying online to make excuses because they got thoroughly, thoroughly dominated from top to bottom. Thoroughly. In shots, in physicality, they were outskated. Out, it's Hey, listen. Sheldon Keefe set the tone right at the beginning of the game. He took Marner off. He put Simmons on, and he goes, "If there's going to be any ridiculousness, deal with it right then and there." And what did the Montreal Canadiens do? They skated back. They skated off. Marner got back on the ice. Simmons went back to his fourth line role, and guess what? And the entire game, guess who was tougher? Guess who was grittier? Guess who outskated you, outshot you, outscored you? It's not the refs' fault. Stop blaming the refs for how bad your team is. You guys honestly think you had a chance against the Toronto Maple Leafs? Come on. That game is what everybody expects to happen four straight. You think Carey Price is going to save you? Come on. He had no idea what was going on last night. Great goal by Rasmus Sandin in the second game. Ooh, last night was a last night. First of all, shout out to Jason Spezza, who is an outstanding human being. while John Tavares was going through what he was going through on the ice, he was talking to him, and John Tavares said afterwards that he recognized Jason Spezza's voice and it helped keep him calm. Outstanding human being. Jason Spezza should never leave the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. Make this guy a player development coach or something. Like, he's still got a lot of game left, as evident by last night. Just cruising into the slot, taking that rebound and depositing it into the back of the net. And Carey Price was like, I don't know what you guys want me to do on that. Attaboy Jason Spezza. He's got a lot of game left. He's got a lot of speed left. He's got a lot of shot left. He's got a lot of things left. Jason Spezza isn't going to retire anytime soon, but he's definitely not leaving the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. And the reigning Maurice Rocket Richard winning Austin Matthews gets on the board. 3-point night. What a juggernaut. Edmonton Oilers fans out there on the West Coast. If you watched last night and saw Austin Matthews blowing guys over with his physicality, hitting people along the boards, causing turnovers, smoking Gallagher in center ice, tossing him over, and then you see him score, put up 2 assists. That's why the Leafs won the game. Edmonton Oilers, how many points does McDavid have? Hey, Edmonton Oilers, what is the season series at? 0-2, right? You know what the stupid thing is? A lot of people don't really understand what they're seeing, and they don't put any. There's no. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, McDavid is racking up points against the Ottawa Senators, the Vancouver Canucks. You have to understand that what's happening is not what's going to happen in the playoffs. When the power plays dry up and you're not getting 7 a night against the Ottawa Senators, the power plays are going to dry up for most nights. Scoring is going to become harder. It's going to get tighter. You think the Winnipeg Jets are just going to roll over and say we suck? You have these sports reporters after the game asking Connor McDavid, he's like, you guys were winning 3 goals, 4 goals, five goals a night. Is the playoffs honestly that different? Bro, you have to think about what you're seeing. Ottawa Senators, Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flames. These teams are not good. McDavid's going to rack up points. Kudos on the 100 points. But if you honestly think that way, you're just going to roll into the playoffs and he's going to score 5 points a night, it's some of the most ridiculous. This is, you're a one-trick pony. Edmonton Oilers. And the media covering these guys who don't even understand. They're like, how come you guys were scoring 3 goals and 4 goals and 5 goals? Is honestly the playoffs that much different? Really? If you're the person who asked that question post game to McDavid, hand in your credentials and just leave what you're doing because you don't understand what the hell is going on. To score in the playoffs, you got to go through 3 guys. You got to take 3 hits, you got to give 3 hits, and you got to grind your way to the net. Like, wow. There's like, you got to have some perspective about what's going on in the playoffs. Like, it's one of those things where you see the 2 Florida teams put up a lot of goals, and there's some high paid goalies in that series who are letting in some softies. And but if you create chaos, scoring happens. You know what I'm saying? That series, there's not a lot of defense being played. It is a back and forth run and gun series. The Winnipeg Jets are not going to play it that way. And the Montreal Canadiens definitely don't want to play it that way because they're going to get smoked if they try to run and gun with the Leafs. Not a lot of teams can do that. The two Florida teams can do that with each other. But in general, the Oilers are a one trick pony. You shut down McDavid, they're going to lose. The Leafs proved it 3 times. The Winnipeg Jets proved it 2 times. And they play tonight. We'll see what happens. Unless McDavid finds a way to break through, there's no real chance of Edmonton. I mean, on paper, Winnipeg has a better forward core, deeper forward core. They have a better defense, and they have a better goal. I picked the Winnipeg Jets to be the second best team in the North Division, and that's the way it's playing out. So see how it goes. Um, hashtag went in for JT. I love that the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking this opportunity to rally around their captain, and they say all the right things. They say they want to play as long as it takes for Johnny to come back. We all know Johnny's not coming back in the playoffs this year, and that kind of talk is, we want to play for as long. If the Leafs play a long time or they get to the Eastern Conference Final or maybe even the Stanley Cup Final, if they get that far, then you know maybe you know that's their way of saying we want to play long enough where if we win the Stanley Cup and we get to raise it, um, John will be healthy enough to actually be there in person in street clothes, but with his jersey on, and maybe he's the first one that lifts that trophy. I think that's really what they're saying is, I don't think John Tavares is coming back in the playoffs at all. It's um based on a contact who knows John Tavares and the text messages that he feels okay, but he's not going to play hockey again this season. That's what I heard. So, and that's fine. And if the Toronto Maple Leafs say we're going to play long enough, as long as it takes for Johnny to come back, then that's their way of saying they want to they want to win it for Johnny, and you know maybe he'll be there at the end of the Stanley Cup final in street clothes, and he could be one of those things that the Leafs can use for inspiration. So I like all the things that I'm hearing. I love the hashtag that's trending, and you know, William Nylander's been a beast in this series. First 2 games, he's got 3 points, and Matthews got 3 points last night, and Rasmus Sandin has been a beast. Zach Bogosian. I don't know if anybody's talking about this guy, but he's been a hell of an addition. He had a hell of a game last night, Zach Bogosian. And Morgan Riley was much better in game 2 than he was in game 1. And the Leafs had the three assistant captains out there in that game last night. Um, Instead of the regular captain and 2 alternates, Matthews, Marner, and Riley. So overall, it was a good game. The fourth line looked faster. They looked a little bit slow in that first game. And Ingval was a beast last night. Thank you for injecting him into the lineup. Galchenyuk looked good. He had moments where he looked really good, but Pierre Ingval was a beast last night, and I think it's the correct call. It was it was I guess it was worth a try to put Riley Nash in there and see if he can shut these guys down. But Montreal doesn't scare you really offensively. They don't have too many offensive guys in there, so Sheldon Keefe decided to take him out, add more speed, and it helped the forecheck last night. I mean, you add Galchenyuk and you add Ball, and the speed has been increased, and the forecheck was better, and the Leafs were moving the puck around, and the power play woke up. Power play woke up because he chose to go after goaltender interference, and that Bergevin, and the meme of Bergevin pointing to the TV saying, "Oh, there's the interference, there's the interference." I don't know how long the guy's been in hockey. Just fire him just because of that. But these memes, send me all the Bergevin memes. I need it all. I need it all. I need to see all of it. I love that meme. That's gonna be the best meme Toronto Maple Leafs fans are gonna use to troll Montreal Canadiens fans for a very, very long time. Very, 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 very long time. Love it. Last night was a good game. And that's the way I see the Leafs playing in this series, and that's why everybody said Montreal Canadiens don't have a chance. Because so it is what it is. I'm very happy, and go Leafs, go win it for JT. Good game, boys. We'll see everybody after the doubleheader, Monday and Tuesday. Going up 3-1, Kotkaniemi. Stay safe. We'll see you guys soon.